What is up, you guys? We are back with another video today. From the Neville sub, we have a post called The Scent of Creation, How to Practice Manifesting 24/7. In a perfect world, we should be able to do one session of SATs and have our desired state stick in consciousness permanently. Because that's the ultimate goal of SATs, visualization, and affirmations, to embody a new state completely all of the time. But the world isn't perfect, and we have lots of practice being in undesirable states. Even worse, when you're in a pattern of negative thinking / feeling, every second you spend not in your desired state can work to undo your practice. But there's a solution to this. By creating non-thinking cues or anchors associated with your desired state, you can trick yourself into embodying a new state of consciousness more often, but with less active effort. Here's what I mean. While something like an affirmation requires thought, something like a bodily sensation doesn't. So if you can link a unique and specific bodily sensation to the experience of being in your desired state, you can tie yourself to that state by triggering the same bodily sensation during your normal everyday activities. Next time you do SATs, try tying a little piece of string tightly to your wrist, not so tightly that it cuts off circulation, of course, but tight enough that you notice the tightness. This is a unique physical stimulus. Take a week or two, and every time you do SATs or visualize, repeat this ritual. Tie the string to your wrist, do your visualization, and when you're finished, untie the string and take it off. Then once the physical stimulus has been linked to your desired state, try tying the string to your wrist when you're doing something that isn't related to manifestation, working, studying, talking on the phone, etc. The incorporation of this physical stimulus into your daily routine should serve to trigger your desired state, even though you aren't using any visual cue to get there. A couple things to note. It's best to spend a good chunk of time connecting your stimulus to your desired state, as in don't tie a string around your wrist tonight while doing SATs, then wake up tomorrow, put the string back on, and wear it all day. Part of this process is connecting your stimulus to your preferred state. If you don't take the time to build that connection, the stimulus won't be effective, and you'll associate it just as much with your undesired state as with your desired one. Secondly, make sure the physical stimulus you choose really is unique. Anyone who wears a watch knows that a mild stimulus will very quickly come to be ignored. You have to pick up something that's distinct but not distracting. A piece of string tied to the wrist, a wrapped up ice pack placed under your foot. That seems a little bit odd. Even sitting / laying in a position you would normally sit or lay will work. You can also go outside the realm of bodily sensation, which brings us to the title of this essay. It's well established that the sense of smell is more closely linked to memory than any other sense of perception. You can read about that here, and there's a link there. You can use this fact to your advantage. Next time you do SATs, spray a new perfume on your shirt. Dab an essential oil on your wrist. Light a uniquely scented candle in your room. Chew a very aromatic flavor of gum, etc. Do this repeatedly, just like you would with a bodily sensation. Then introduce your new stimulus to some other activity and let it trigger your desired state. These kinds of cues and anchors are pretty common in secular self-help circles because they're very effective. Given that they're effective, we might as well use them in our own pursuit of manifestation mastery. As always, good luck. So you've got the top comment here is, as a behavioral scientist who is trained in effective neuroscience, this works. And there we go. That's why this is true. This is in other disciplines, shall I say, or with neuroscience, they've proven that this works. That's why I like to talk about Andrew Huberman. I like to bring in different points of view, because listening to Neville Goddard and people that come from this sort of angle when it comes to goal achievement, when it comes to self-improvement, getting your desired outcome in your reality is all good. But there's so many other people, there's so much information now too that science has backed up, and I had that whole entire video about the science behind manifestation. But Andrew Huberman has some great people that he interviews on his podcast, and yes, I've heard of anchors, as well as I have had my own experience with this, and I'll share that right now. I don't know if I have actually on this channel before, but when I was 18, I underwent hypnotherapy or hypnosis. And at the time, I did it because I wanted some more confidence. I had just entered into university, and I was basically feeling a little bit like, I can remember at the time feeling like I didn't know if my ideas and me talking was contributing, if people valued what I was saying. Like I didn't have anything of value for whatever reason. It's like we pick up these beliefs in childhood or in different parts of our life, and they play out with these stories that inform our behavior. And imagine carrying that belief around that I never have anything good to contribute or never anything good to add to the conversation. And it definitely it's going to create an outer circumstance where you're taking on the qualities of a shy person, or a person who doesn't want to offer anything, or a person who doesn't want to speak up, a person who does not go out of his way to exchange, to talk to people. And especially as a freshman in a university, that can be very detrimental to you building social connections, to you making friends and having a good social life. And really, like at that crucial time where you're entering college, it's really like the first time you're away from high school. It's like you have an opportunity to kind of reinvent yourself and be the person that you want to be. And I noticed that I was feeling held back in these regards. So I went and saw this woman, and she hypnotized me. And it essentially was to build my confidence and build up this feeling that, yes, like I have good things to say. I have things of value to contribute to, and people like what I have to say, that I am essentially like worthy of communicating and expressing myself and being outgoing and all of that type of thing. So the hypnosis that she did for me truly was effective. And I remember the induction was me going down flights of a staircase and going into a peaceful place. And that can often be a part of hypnosis. They have you go to a place that you think is tranquil and peaceful. And I don't, this has been such a long time ago now. Like I don't remember the exact details, but I do remember that the anchor that she created for me was to touch my right arm. And this was a nice convenient anchor because at any given time, this person's giving examples of strings and all these different things, but you can touch your right arm at any given time. And whenever I was feeling down about myself, whenever I was feeling like not confident in myself and what I had to say, I would do this. And she really did anchor in this internal sense of confidence in me that gave me a very, like, a boost in it was like a bodily sensation that I would get a very tangible boost in confidence from doing this action. And, I used it, and it actually did help me kind of come out of my shell a bit at the time. And there was other things that I did and experimented with, but I really always looked back at that with a fond memory. And I know hypnosis can get like a weird connotation or maybe like a bad rep, or like, there's always all those things that people imagine with the person swinging the pendulum and weird things when it comes to hypnosis. But there was another book that I got called I Can Make You Confident by Paul McKenna. And that I got a little bit later, and he has a hypnosis as well about being confident. And all my experience with hypnosis has been extremely positive. So it's cool that this post was posted just now. I also have been interested in trying it out again, maybe going to another hypnotherapist. And I've listened to Rob Dyrdek, who, was a pro skateboarder and had those very popular shows on MTV. Ridiculousness and Fantasy Factory, and he is a big proponent of hypnosis as well. And as a matter of fact, he says that he was brainwashed for success by a certain hypnotist who I don't remember the name of right now. I know he operates in San Diego, but he attributes some of his success and the transformation of his mindset and ability to segue out of being a pro skateboarder into then going on to become an entrepreneur and having these different business, like successful ventures. I mean, he had a extremely successful shows on YouTube, and then success in business, a lot of business success. He attributes a lot of that to his transformation of his mindset. And he has actually a book that he's written as well. I have not read the book, but I've seen that he now has a podcast on YouTube, and he talks about mindset and manifestation and all this stuff. And it really is cool to see that other people such as him that are more in the mainstream are, opening up, talking about this type of thing as well. And I really do think that there's a lot of validity to this. I've actually been interested myself in studying hypnosis, hypnotherapy. I think that it could be a great thing to add. I have those affirmation tracks, but I've also thought that doing guided meditations that can be empowering. And essentially the idea that I have is to actually do what I would like to call state recipes, because coming at this from the approach of Neville, like the state being everything, what state are you operating from as the foundation to transform the results that you're getting? Why not create a recipe for that state? And so whether that state is the state of being confident, the state of being carefree, the state of being outgoing, the state of being popular, the state of being well known, the state of being admired, the state of being youthful, the state of embodying perfect health. There's just so many possibilities. The state of being in a relationship. There's so many possibilities with that. And I think it could be very, very valuable, and it would be really cool to offer those on YouTube as essentially guided meditations or guided hypnotherapy, guided hypnosis that will induce you into those states, guide you into feeling those states through a visualization process, through a process of walking down the stairs, like I said, but then imagining certain scenarios that allow you to feel and be into that state. Because I know that in Paul McKenna's book, I Can Make You Confident, he guides you into seeing yourself in a situation in first person and then in third person as well, where you are just supremely confident. And of course, this happens by getting into that relaxed state at first, and the kind of subconscious gatekeeper can turn off so that the subconscious then allows you to enter into these states. But I think it's a very powerful practice, and I think that the anchoring thing is also very powerful. There's a guy here that left one of the top comments on here. He left the anchor method. I remember using it to get laid and multiple hookups a few years ago. Scary how effective it is. And it's funny because he talks about how there's an ebook, a rare ebook, and then there's all these comments of people asking him to send the ebook because he said that he would, which I thought was also pretty funny. But the anchoring thing, like I said, I have personal experience with it, and I know that it works. Somebody else left a comment here about the Psychonaut Field Manual. No, I'm not sure if that's the same ebook that this other guy's talking about, but I can leave a link to this post down below, and you guys can check it out for yourself. With that being said, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this. Have you guys heard of anchoring? Do any of you guys have experience with this? I would love to know. I'm very curious about it. I think that it is extremely powerful. And yes, it's not talked about as much in this like manifesting community, but as far as like hypnotists and hypnosis, and again, like hypnosis is you're getting into that same relaxed state, the state akin to sleep. That's what's happening in hypnosis. So it's really talking about the same exact thing. Why not use that? That's a perfect thing to use. And I would recommend, like doing something that's easier to do, like for example, this, or I've seen other people do like this or this type of movement, rather than having to get other objects involved, because You might not have access to them. They're talking about an ice pack, all this stuff. Don't make it complicated. Just do something, some sort of movement that you wouldn't normally do. Anyways, guys, with that being said, much love as always. I hope that you found this one useful. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, like I said. Hit me with a like, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.